What's going on, guys? This is VinylicPuma, back with another Borderlands 2 countdown video that was requested by some of you guys on Twitter, but today I'd like to revisit an old topic on what I think are 10 of the best chest farming locations in Borderlands 2. Now, unlike my last video on this subject, this video will be updated to be current with the Commander Lilith DLC and will include chest locations from that DLC, as well as a few locations from some of the other DLCs that I felt were worth including. So you should find there are quite a few changes from the original version of this video as far as some of the entries and their individual rankings are concerned. Speaking of rankings, I'm ranking many of these based on the quality and quantity of the chests that are available to farm on a given route. So the more chests there are and the better loot that you can get from those chests, the higher those particular entries will be ranked on this list. Otherwise, I do think it's important that you smash like on this video to cure the genophage, and also let me know in the comments section below what your favorite chests to farm are. Alternatively, you can also smash like for smashing the like button's sake, because I'd like to see how many times I can say smash like in a given sentence, which appears to only be about 3 times. But still, be sure to smash the like button anyway. But enough intro, let's go ahead here and get started with our very first entry, which is going to be a chest that's located in the southern shelf. So this is the earliest chest that you will be able to farm until you unlock various other areas in the game. For normal mode, a lot of the items here should be around level 3, and for true VATLE mode, they should be around level 30 or so before you complete that playthrough, where they will then scale to level 50. In order to access this chest, you're going to have to make a straight run from the fast travel in Liarsburg all the way to the edge of the map like I'm doing here on video. It's a far distance you have to go, and farming this one will take a while on starter characters, but you of course have the advantage of being able to come here almost as soon as you start the game and or a new playthrough. And for this reason, this particular chest is very desirable, as it's a great way to get your hands on some really great loot really early on in any playthrough. This said, I do think it's fair to point out this chest is a little riskier when compared to some of the other methods I'm about to go over. After all, you have to get past bandits, racks, and bullymongs, and this can be pretty annoying. Thus, and if you're at higher levels, you may find many of the other methods I'm about to go over are simply superior. Still, this is a great chest to farm and is recommended if you don't have access to anything else. Number 9. The TUNDRA Express Developer's Chest. This is a red chest that's located on the very edge of TUNDRA Express. All you have to do is spawn at the fast travel, walk in the direction that I am here on video, past all of the Varkids, and straight up to the cliff. From here, you can jump down, and at this point, you should find a chest here. Go ahead and open it, check its contents, and then if you see anything you want, pick it up, and then of course save and quit. From here, you can just rinse and repeat as many times as you like. Much like the southern shelf chest that I just went over, the major advantage of coming here tends to be for normal or true VATLE mode, as players should find it's a relatively reliable source of level 15 or so items in the 4 mode difficulty, and a decent source of level 40 or so items in true VATLE mode. Likewise, this chest is also nice for people that are playing in higher difficulties that don't have access to some of the later game areas that tend to have better chest farming methods. So that's another reason why you might want to come here and farm this particular chest. In general, this developer's chest is still pretty good and should take less time to farm than the chest located in the southern shelf. So be sure to come here if you don't have access to anything else. Number 8. The ARID NEXUS BADLANDS Chest Run. So this is a route that includes 3 potential chests that are all in the high level 20s and low level 30s in normal, and the high 40s in true VATLE mode. I usually recommend doing this once you have a Norfleet or an E-Tech launcher, as it will make getting the second chest a little bit easier. But here's the route. The very first chest is located just inside of Firestone. Upon passing the graveyard area and some loaders, you can take a left and jump up on a fence and then up and on to a stone ledge. Once you do this, you should come upon an inactive claptrap and the first red chest. The second red chest is located behind the Electro Wall and what was once Dr. Zed's clinic. To access this, you have to go and find the fuse box, which is located behind a small enclosure on top of a pole. Shoot at or into the enclosure with an E-Tech launcher or some kind of weapon with some splash damage, and this will allow you to shut off the fuse, which will deactivate the electro wall and allow you to loot the chest. The third and final chest is located above the train station, just like in Borderlands 1. All you have to do is run to the train station, platform on top of the train station like so, and once you reach the roof, you can open the third and final chest. The hardest parts about doing this route are dealing with some of the loaders and maybe Saturn, but if you're quick, you should be able to run past both of them. Just be careful at higher levels where some of these loaders and especially Saturn can be a real threat. But otherwise, this should be a great route for those that have played Borderlands 1, as you probably already know where a bunch of these chests are already. Plus, you get more chests for all that running you have to do compared to the previous 2 entries. Number 7. The WATTLE Gobbler chests. So these are the 3 chests that spawn upon defeating the WATTLE Gobbler in the WATTLE Gobbler DLC. To do this, you'll need to complete the WATTLE Gobbler DLC's main mission and defeat the WATTLE Gobbler and all the various tributes that spawn. Upon doing so, head through the doors that open and you should find all 3 chests. Simply open them up, loot the contents inside, and then from there, you can either save and quit or just jump down the hole for fun. What's nice about these chests is, depending on the level you start the DLC, the level of the enemies and items can scale to your level. That said though, do be careful not to start the Headhunter DLCs too early in normal, as this can affect your level requirements for all of the items and all of the other Headhunter DLCs as well. This is less of an issue in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode because everything just scales to your level anyway, so you may find that the Headhunter DLCs, and by extension the WATTLE Gobbler chests in particular, are more useful for that difficulty. I'll admit this requires more effort and combat on your part than some of the other chests we've discussed thus far, but the WATTLE Gobbler itself is basically a pushover, and these 3 chests should be pretty easy to access. Number 6. The Wildlife Exploitation Chests. Technically speaking, this area has 2 different chest farming locations that the player can take advantage of. The first is located towards the entrance, and to get there, all you have to do is get past the entryway where you had to cripple the loaders during the main story, and once you're beyond that, all you have to do is find the electro wall here where the chest is located, and look above the building and then shoot the elemental barrel that's right there. Doing this will disable the electro switch and allow you to gain access to this particular chest. As for the second chest, this one is located in the area where you farm the legendary loot midgets or obtain the second echo for the Doctor's Order side quest. Make sure you start at the exit for the natural selection annex, and then simply defeat all of the enemies and then the ultimate badass loader that spawns to gain access to both this area and the room where the midgets are normally farmed. Right across from the boxes where the midgets themselves spawn, you'll find a second chest. Now the former chest is one I might recommend you farm in normal or true Vault Hunter mode, as the items contained within appear to be either level 21 or so for normal and level 45 or so for true Vault Hunter mode. Assuming you're in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, it makes the most sense to farm the second chest, as you can also farm the legendary loot midgets and potentially get E-Tech relics and of course pearlescent weapons, thus killing 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. Overall, this is a great place to chest farm. Just pick a chest and farm it, and you should be able to reap some great rewards. Number 5. The Hero's Pass Last Chest. While farming this chest isn't quite as convenient as a newly discovered method with the Commander Lilith DLC, it's still a great and super fast chest that you can repeatedly farm over and over. All you have to do is fast travel to Hero's Pass, run through the entire area, and then exit into the Vault of the Warrior. Once you arrive in the Vault of the Warrior, you can then turn around and go back through the way you came. As soon as you spawn back in Hero's Pass, open the chest if you haven't, and then save and quit. Once you load your character back in, you'll spawn next to this chest again, and you can simply repeat this process as much as you want until you get some really good stuff. Before the Lilith DLC, this was the best method in my opinion for quote-unquote pure chest farming. While there wasn't a huge amount of chests to open like there are in some of the previous entries, farming this chest can be very fast and efficient, especially for PC players that have an SSD drive, as the load times should be really low, thus reducing the amount of time you'll have to wait in between loading screens. Console players will have to wait a bit longer, and thus I might recommend one of the other methods instead, but I still think it's hard to go wrong in coming here. Or at least it was, because there's a Lilith DLC method of farming that's very similar to this that I'll be discussing in our next entry, which is going to be the Mount SCARAB last chest. Just like our Heroes Pass last chest that I just went over, this is yet another chest that's farmed at the end of an area and in a very similar manner. The difference is that this requires you to have the Mount SCARAB Research Center location unlocked, and from that point, all you have to do to access this chest is progress through the area, defeat Cassius, and instead of saving and quitting, you can go through a door here that will allow you to enter a room with a fast travel and 2 chests. One of these chests is a regular chest that isn't really worth farming, but the other is a red chest and is definitely worth farming. From here, you can proceed to open both of these and then save and quit and repeat the process all over again. I think this method is actually a little superior to the Heroes Pass last chest, since you have a fast travel here that will let you go anywhere, while for Heroes Pass, you have to either run all the way back to the start of Heroes Pass, or you have to go into the Vault of the Warrior area and access the fast travel there. It's overall a just much faster method with the Mount SCARAB last chest. The only problem with this method is that you can't also farm Cassius, but assuming Gearbox adds a patch or someone finds a way to glitch back into this boss room, you may be able to farm Cassius as well, which would be great for higher level difficulties. But as far as pure chest farming goes, I'd say this method is pretty hard to beat and is definitely recommended by me. Number 3. The Dragon Keep Dice Chest Bonanza. While I wouldn't recommend this route to anybody that's looking for legendaries, I think it's still pretty hard to ignore the 59 dice chests located in the Winged Storm location where you fight the Ancient Dragons of Destruction. This might just be the single highest concentration of chests in Borderlands 2, and is actually a pretty awesome route provided you're looking for purple or non-gemstone rarity type weapons. Provided you roll a 20 on one of these chests, the likelihood of purples appearing is near guaranteed, and while this costs iridium, it's a great way to spend some iridium if you've maxed everything out and gotten all of the available ammo SDUs. Now the trick here, especially on later difficulties, is to beat the dragons and make sure you don't run out of iridium while opening all of the chests. Typically what I like to do is play as Salvador to beat the dragons, and then I'll go through the area opening as many dice chests as I can. Once I run out of iridium, I'll save and quit, then switch to normal mode, and then beat the dragons a few times on normal to replenish all of the iridium. Note, you will need to beat the DLC on both normal and Ultimate Voltage mode, which I would recommend for the best farming experience. I will admit there are a lot of chests here, and for that reason, maybe I should have ranked this one a little higher, but again, since I rarely ever see legendaries on this route, I decided to rank it a little bit lower than some of the competition. Feel free to laugh in the comment section below, but I think you'll agree this is a fantastic chest farming method and will be well worth your time and effort to properly set up. Number 2. The Marcus Mercenary Train Chest. Though it's lost its luster with the advent of new DLC, the Mercenary Day Train is still a fantastic option for those that want to chest farm. Similar to the WATTLE Gobbler, all one has to do is complete the main story quest for the Headhunter pack, defeat Tinder Snowflake, and upon doing so, the train will appear, and once the lever is pulled, you can look inside to see all of the goodies. This process can be repeated as many times as you like, and while it can be cumbersome to defeat Snowflake over and over, I think it's well worth it for the potential spoils. The biggest advantage this chest has over many others is that it has the benefit of spawning specific gear like class mods, relics, and shields every time. This means farming this chest can be a great way to get these specific types of items if you want them, as they always spawn there. The legendary drop rate isn't that bad here either. Obviously, farming the Lilith DLC bosses is better for legendaries, but I'd say I usually get one legendary to appear fairly frequently at OP 10. That, and thanks to the specific gear types that spawn here, you may find it's a little easier to get something like a legendary class mod, a legendary grenade, or a legendary shield for your character here than many other places. So while it's no longer number 1, this is still a great chest to farm and well worth the effort if you ask me. And for our final entry, number 1, the HADERAX chests. While HADERAX is pretty difficult, I'd say these are by far the best chests that one can farm in Borderlands 2. All you have to do is defeat HADERAX the Invincible from the Commander Lilith DLC, and upon doing so, these 3 chests will appear and have an extremely high, basically virtually guaranteed chance of containing legendaries, as well as a few effervescent rarity items. On average, I usually see about 3 or 4 legendaries every time I open these, and from time to time, you also see the full or 2/3 of the Digistruct Peak effervescent set. Of the 3 items from this set, the easy mode always appears. However, other times you can get both the peak opener and hard carry to appear, or you may just get one of the 2 to appear. Considering that these 3 effervescent items can be obtained from these chests, along with the virtually guaranteed chance of legendaries, and I think it's fair to say that these are the best chests to farm in Borderlands 2. After all, no other chest in this game has a virtually guaranteed chance of legendaries. Of course, the catch is that you'll need 20 Iridium to spawn HADERAX, and then you'll have to beat him. This can be pretty tough, hence why I like to do this on Salvador with a Fire Elemental conference call, as I think it makes the process a lot easier. But as long as you're able to take down HADERAX consistently, it doesn't matter what method you use, as you'll still be able to get the guaranteed legendaries and effervescent items that can spawn in these chests. At the end of the day, I think this is the best chest or chests to farm in Borderlands 2. While it's difficult to pull off, the challenge in my mind is definitely worth it for the spoils. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely be sure to smash like, click the bell so you can be notified when I upload my next Borderlands video, and as always, and again, thank you all so much for supporting this channel. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.